Blessings, everyone. Wanted to share a word with you today about the blood moon. Unfortunately, my receiver for my microphone is not working, so I'm going to have to cut this audio straight. Please forgive me if the quality is bad. But I want to share this word with you because this blood moon is a very, very significant event. Now, I want to make something very clear. Just like with the supposed Revelation 12 sign back in September, you have all these end times fanatics that are hopping on this and dubbing it the blood moon of Joel, and it's not true. Okay, what God has shown me through prayer and Bible study is that this is not the blood moon of Joel, but that it is a sign of judgment coming on all the nations that should be able to behold this. And what people forget is that God originally appointed all the ordinances of the heavens and the stars and the planets to be for signs and for wonders. That's Genesis 1:14. So just because you see something in the heavens does not mean that it's directly connected to the end time. Sometimes it's just meant to be a sign to a specific group of peoples or a specific nation or several groups of peoples or nations. Okay? Now, the irony is, just this morning, I heard in the news that the Episcopal Church of D.C. is no longer going to use the Father and the Son in their services, and they're going to replace the Father and the Son with quote-unquote gender-neutral pronouns. And all I can say to those churches is, you're working wickedness, and you really need to repent of that because you're blaspheming God. Now, as I said, this blood moon is a sign of impending judgment coming upon all the nations that should be able to behold this. And all of these nations are somehow tied to Christianity in one way or another. Now, this blood moon will be visible from the western United States, Australia, Asia, Northeast Europe, and Russia. And with regard to the United States, what God has shown me is that following the blood moon, there will be 3 major earthquakes here in the U.S. for a witness and for a testimony against the United States of America. Now, at least one of those I was shown in a dream, okay? And in this dream, I saw a red dot over the southwest United States of America. And when I mean southwest, I mean like northeast Texas, eastern Arizona, like that area. Okay, and there was a red dot, and then around that dot there were circular bands that represented how far the impact of this earthquake could be felt. And I kid you not, those bands went as far east as Georgia, down into Mexico, and west toward California. And as I was looking at this, I then heard a woman or a reporter speaking and saying, powerful 9.0 earthquake has just struck. Now, what's significant to me about that is seismologists have been saying that the big one is overdue and that it's going to happen in California. Now, by the big one, they mean a massive, massive earthquake, because here in the U.S. we have multiple fault lines that are very active and haven't gone yet and caused that massive earthquake, but we're overdue. And seismologists think that it's going to happen in California with the San Andreas fault line. But I'm going to tell you now, what God showed me is it happening in the southwest United States. And there, like I said, there's going to be 3 major earthquakes that follow the blood moon here in the U.S. Now, I haven't really been shown anything specific about Australia or Asia or Russia, but I do think you should pay attention, because what God did show me is that there will be calamities in those countries, and for different reasons. You look at Australia. Australia has followed in the footsteps of the United States of America in legalizing gay marriage. You look at Asia. While Christianity is one of the fastest growing religions in Asia, uh, Christianity has also been heavily persecuted in Asia. So please, please watch and pray. This is a very, very significant time here in the U.S. that ties into another vision that I had. And this is what the Bible refers to as the time of visitation. Okay, if you look at the word that's translated visitation from the Hebrew, that word literally means to oversee. And so this is the time of visitation is a time when God is personally overseeing the removal of an entire nation or group of peoples. And so this is why you're seeing all of these natural disasters and tragedies. And for me, this whole thing about earthquakes goes back to December of last year. December, just right around the beginning of, excuse me, right around the beginning of December of last year, I started receiving repeated warnings from God about earthquakes. It was like everything I read in my Bible was something about the earth shaking and the land trembling. And so you just watch what happens after this blood moon. And as usual, please watch and pray. Please pray for mercy. Pray that God would spare people and not pour out so much wrath as to forget people and to forget those who serve Him. Because I'm telling you, there will be calamities in all of those countries that see the blood moon following it, because it's a sign of judgment. We in here in America, we've got to get our act together, because that's the message that God's trying to send to the United States of America. You need to consider your ways and change them. And not only should you be praying and asking the Lord to show mercy, but this is a time when we in the church need to get out and witness to people and preach to them and teach them about God and call them to righteousness through the preaching of the gospel. There is no better time than what you have now. You got a lot of people suffering in this country just from what we had towards the end of last year. So if you think it's going to go away, I'm telling you, God is trying to send a message, and we in the church need to deliver the message, which is simply repent. Please watch and pray, and take care. God bless.